Good afternoon, everyone. We are the Tobaccoholics here in Lubbock, Texas. I am Cigar Professor Ron.
And I'm Cigar JD. How are y'all guys doing today?
It's silent because we're waiting for you to respond through a YouTube channel. I'm doing all right, though. You doing okay, JD?
I'm doing okay. I'm just getting tired of this COVID-19 stay-at-home orders. Luckily, hopefully Friday, we'll be able to open up a little bit for everybody.
Yeah, hopefully our lounge can open up. And in the meantime, because we've been combating severe boredom, we've decided to start reviewing cigars for y'all because you must clearly think so highly of our opinion, and we matter so much. This is what we're going to do. Today, we are going to be reviewing the Micallef Connecticut. This is a fantastic cigar. It's an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, Habano binder, and Dominican and Nicaraguan filler. Now, one of the reasons why we chose Micallef to be the first cigar we review on this Tobaccoholics channel is because of their amazing social media presence. Micallef truly does a lot to help people, get the word out about their cigars, offer them a place to smoke. If you join up on their website, you can become a Micallef ambassador. They will send you a really cool numbered challenge coin. Usually, if you go to a brick and mortar store for an event with Micallef and you present your Micallef ambassador coin, it's usually good for like a free cigar. You can also join the Facebook Micallef Ambassadors group, and there's always cool things happening there with Andy Yaffe, who is their national sales manager, Brandon Luna, who is our cigar rep. They're always on Zoom meetings talking to people. It's a great little community to just sit down and smoke with people while you're maintaining social distancing because you're smoking with people through the internet. That's why we've chosen the Micallef Connecticut as our first review cigar on this channel. So, with that, JD, how are you going to cut your cigar?
Today, I'm going to use your traditional double-bladed guillotine. And there we go.
And I'm going to opt for the Colibri Deep V-Cut because I do like a good V-Cut when we do a cigar.
And make sure when you cut your cigars, just barely cut the tip of it. That's all you really need to get to open it up for you.
With a V-cut, usually there is that backer, so you don't have to worry about cutting too terribly much off. And first thing we're going to do, as we're reviewing the cigar, is we're going to take a cold draw, meaning we're not going to light it. We're just going to draw through the cigar and try to pick up on any flavors that might help linger there. So here we go. Well, firstly, I like the draw. It's not super tight, but it's not super loose. It feels like it's a pretty well-constructed cigar. On the cold draw, I'm definitely getting some little hints of cedar, and is that a little bit of peppery spice in there?
I'm getting a little bit of pepper spice from that cedar, and to me, I'm picking up a lot of floral notes. How about you?
The floral will linger on the tip of the tongue. Yeah, I'm not getting it on the draw per se, or on the cold draw per se, but there's just a little bit something lingering there. So we'll see what that's like after we light the cigar. Now, the first thing we want to do when we're lighting our cigar is take the foot band off. Always a good idea. You don't want burning paper. It's very nice. It just slides right off. Sometimes you'll have some glue that gets on the wrapper and it becomes a pain, and then you rip the wrapper and then you start crying, and it's really sad. We both have two different ways of lighting a cigar. I'm going to lightly toast my cigar first and then actually light the cigar. JD, how do you light your cigar?
On mine, I start off with the toast, but instead of puffing on it like he was going to do, I'm just going to keep lighting it while toasting it until I get that nice cherry red from it.
Yeah. So we're going to light the foot. I'm going to light the foot and then draw, and we'll see what the first light is like, what kind of flavors you can pick up on the first light. So. Alrighty, so the first light. This is definitely not a standard Connecticut, at least on the first light. Most Connecticut's are typically noted for their buttery, almost creamy taste. This one does not really have that type of finish. It's very much more cedary on the palate. What are you getting?
I get a lot of cedar notes from it, and for me, for that first light, there's a very dominant floral note to it. It's almost like going in and cutting and trimming rose bushes. That's how floral it is, on my palate anyways.
There is definitely a floral finish to it. On the retrohale, I am getting more of that cedary, almost like a black peppery type spice to it. It's not going to be super overpowering like cayenne, and that's probably coming from that Habano binder. Now, when I say Habano and Connecticut and all these special words, Connecticut is a type of leaf, and what makes this leaf so not super dark like a Maduro is that it's grown to what's like cheese, grown under what's like cheesecloth, and that prevents a lot of that UV light from shining down and stays that lightish brown color. Habano is also a type of leaf. It's a type of tobacco plant. And so these are just terms that get thrown around a lot, and there is usually some confusion with that, especially with new smokers. It's just stuff that you will learn as you go, as you dive deeper into the world of tobacco. But otherwise, First Light, pretty solid smoke. Any thoughts you want to add?
For me, off the First Light, it is a strictly mild cigar. This would be great for your beginner cigars. It might be a little peppery or a little strong, but it is very, very good.
All right, and we'll be back to talk about our first third, the impressions that we have of the first third in a moment. All right, we are firmly into the first third. My ash just fell off, and I was very sad about it. It didn't land in my lap, though, which is always good. We've been taking notes, talking about it. I am getting a very strong cedar note with a little bit of honey on the finish. What about you, my friend? How are you?
I'm getting the same with that extreme cedar. To me, I still have a floral taste with it, and on the finish, a very, very pleasing honey flavor to it.
Yeah. I would also like to point out, apart from my ash that fell, it's still it's still stuck together pretty well. JD's ash, he's getting into the second third of the cigar, so we'll have more notes in the transition there. But just look at that ash. It's a well-made cigar will hold its ash pretty well, and that's absolutely doing well. I'm afraid what's going to happen when you have to take your band off.
Yeah.
But this has been an absolutely pleasing smoke. Definitely on that mild to mild medium side. The spiciness of that Habano binder really isn't coming through on that much. What do you think?
No, it is. It is not very spicy, but it is a very soft pepper. But it is barely there, which is very surprising for me for having a Habano binder on it.
Yeah, that Habano binder usually will give it some type of pepper to it. What do you think nicotine-wise? How would you rate this cigar?
For the nicotine-wise, it's very low nicotine. It is your traditional basic Connecticut wrapper, which Ron and I don't much care.
We don't smoke all that often. We don't smoke Connecticut wrappers all that often. I got you, brother.
Thank you.
I got you. But yeah, it's nicotine-wise, you're not going to get a good strong nicotine hit from this. This is a great cigar for someone who's just dipping their feet into the world of cigars, just trying to ease their way into the hobby. And this Micallef Connecticut is going to be one that I would for sure, if you come into my shop and you're asking for a good cigar for a beginner, this is one I'm going to steer you towards, because MSRP is under $10 for us. It's a good smoke. Do you have any final thoughts on the first third?
I want to add to yours. I normally have 3 or 4 cigars when somebody comes in never smoked a cigar before. This is the first time I've actually ever smoked a cigar, and it has now made that rotation for people who've never smoked a cigar before. This is the one I'll probably start steering them towards.
Yes, I very much would steer them towards this cigar. Again, it's a complex smoke for Connecticut. There's a lot of cedar, honey on the finish, and that floral is still. It's not as strong as the cedar, those floral notes are, but they're there. They let you know they're there. They're just peeking their way up from the cedar. So we'll be back with the second third. And we're back with the second third of the cigar. We've both been smoking it's been about a half hour right now, and I'm firmly halfway through my Robusto. JD's a little bit farther than I am. There really hasn't been a whole lot of change between the first and second third. What do you think?
I am still getting that floral note for me, and now I've never actually tasted nuttiness before. To me, this tastes like a roasted honey peanut. It is very good.
Yeah, like those Planters honey roasted peanuts you can find at any grocery store. Usually the ones that aren't treated. Yeah, it's got that naturalness to it. And that honey lingers on the finish, but it's not overpowering on your next draw, which I really like. It leads to a very pleasant surprise after each puff. The cedar is still very strong for me. I'm not getting super a lot of that floral taste really anymore, except on some of that retrohale or on the French inhale. But it's still noticeable if you're trying to feel for it. But otherwise, this has been an absolutely pleasant smoke so far. I'm curious to see what's going to happen into the third. Like I said, I'm just amazed by how complex a smoke this is for a Connecticut wrapper. Micallef has really done something really amazing with this cigar. And do you have any final thoughts on this one?
So, we like to do, every video we do, we like to ask you guys a question. And for our first question, I would like to ask you guys is, do you ever notice those lines on your ash? What do y'all think that is? Let us know in your comments. What I think it is, and what I've been told, is every time you take a puff, it will leave a mark on your ash. And that's what I think it is, but I would like to know what you guys think.
Oh, kind of like when you're sipping a good beer.
Yes.
A good dark beer, you have the sip marker. Yeah, keeps track of how quickly or how slowly you're drinking that beer. Actually, this would pair pretty well with a good. I would actually pair this with a decent stout. And what about you?
I would agree with that. Me personally, I'd probably go more with an IPA because I'm more of an IPA guy. Like, I think this would be really good with one of those. What is the word? What I'm looking for? Like the Firehouse or Fireman's Ale No. 4. I think that's an IPA.
I don't know. I'm not an IPA guy. They're too bitter for me.
Sure.
I'm like I do the dark porters and stouts. But I think a good porter or a good stout would do pretty well with this because it's not going to be super bitter to overpower some of those other flavors you're getting. And of course, coffee is always a good choice as well.
I know this is a little strange for most people, but one of my absolute favorite things of all time to pair with any cigars is a cold glass of milk or a chocolate milkshake. It cleans the palate. It is just very good. You should always try that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, keeping that pH balance in your mouth will help. Right around 7 will help you experience a lot of the subtle flavors within a cigar. So finding a way to restore that pH balance is always a good choice. So yeah, and very pleasant smoke so far, and we will be back with the third and our final thoughts and rating on it in a bit. And we're back with the final third and finish of the cigar, and we've been at it for just over an hour. We have had to take a couple breaks because customers have come, and we've had to go outside and serve them. But so far, still, it's a phenomenal smoke. Even having to set it down, I have not had to relight it, even with helping customers. And I was away for about 4 or 5 minutes or so.
Oh, yeah.
Good. It's a fantastic smoke. There hasn't been a whole lot of change to it, but it's still been a great, complex smoke. I would say it's firmly at that mild to medium side. What about you, my friend?
It is that mild to medium. I'm still having a lot of that roasted peanut honey flavor from it. I've lost the cedar from the beginning. There is no more floral note in it. I think that also lost right towards the end of the second third. It is very good. I'd highly recommend it to anybody. It is just a good cigar.
It is a good cigar. Good for a beginner, and then for you more seasoned smokers, you're going to pick up on some of those complexities. So it's definitely one you should give a shot to, even if you're not a big fan of Connecticut wrappers. I think you'd be surprised with how complex this Connecticut actually is. But yeah, on the finish, I'm still getting some cedar, a little bit of honey. There's not a whole lot of floral anymore. That has since died away, but mostly that cedar and then that honey on the finish. It's been a great smoke. I'm pleasantly surprised with this cigar.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's a very pleasant cigar. As we said at the beginning, we're not huge Connecticut fans, but this has opened my eyes more towards trying more Connecticut's, not being afraid of being disappointed by how mild they are. This is really good. It's picked up a little bit in intensity, but not much. As we said earlier, it's that straight medium mild cigar. Very good.
It is good, yeah. So we're getting pretty more close to the end. Get time to set it down. I mean, I could probably still smoke mine for another 10 minutes or so and be pleasantly happy. But JD, what are you gonna rate this cigar on a scale of 1 to 100.
What I would rate the cigar based on its construction, it's held the ash pretty well. It is nice razor even burn. Haven't had to touch it up. The complexity of the flavor, me enjoying it, I'm probably going to give it about a 89 to a 90. That's very high for me for Connecticut. How about you, brother?
That's actually, I was going to go with 89 to 90 as well. I mean, this has been a fantastic smoke. We're both a little harsher when we rate cigars. I think Cigars and Spirits gave this a 92. I can see why. It has been a fantastic smoke. I will smoke this again. And that should really be the measure of any cigar. If it's a good cigar, if you're going to smoke it again. So will you smoke this again?
I definitely will. I think this would be a great breakfast cigar. When you first wake up, just go outside and enjoy nature, enjoy being outdoors. Mm-hmm. And this is just a phenomenal cigar.
Yeah, sit on your balcony, watch the sunrise as you read the paper, or just sit in with a glass of coffee or a hot cup of tea in the morning. That's what I do. And it's just, yeah, this would be a great smoke in the morning. And for us here in Lubbock, Texas, I think we retail this at like $9.70 plus tax. So definitely an affordable smoke, a fantastic smoke. Highly recommend it. Yeah. And so any final thoughts on this cigar?
My final thoughts is don't knock it till you try it. I know all you smokers out there who've been smoking for a long time have a hard time going back to Connecticut's. I would seriously suggest you go try this cigar. It's very good. Yeah,
especially first cigar you wake up in the morning on a Saturday or Sunday morning and you don't have to go to work. You can just sit, relax, watch the sun come up, and it's still pretty cool outside, at least here in West Texas. In the morning, it's still pretty cool. This would be a great cigar. Just hang out and smoke. I will smoke this again. I don't know when, but I will smoke it again. Again, we're smoking the Micallef Connecticut Robusto. It's a 5x52. We've been at it for a little bit over an hour, which for a Robusto is a pretty solid smoke time. Mm-hmm. And again, haven't had to relight it, haven't had to touch it up any. It's held its even burn. The ash holds itself very well. It's a good gray ash, a lot of good smoke, and a lot of good complex flavors to it. There isn't a lot of change, but I love the consistent smoke. I like, when I first light it up to where I get to the end, it's roughly the same flavors. I love a smoke like that. So, yeah. Anyways, this has, again, been the Micallef Connecticut Robusto. We both highly recommend it. We're both going to put it somewhere. So, shall we say 90?
Yeah, let's go 90.
All right. We're going to both rate this a 90 out of 100. Pick one up from your local shop, and if not, here in Lubbock, Texas, we can ship and deliver. And again, sign up for the Micallef Ambassadors Program on their website. Join their Facebook group. There's all kinds of good smoking people hanging out. It's just a great way to smoke with people while maintaining some social distance. So, yeah.
This has been the Tobaccoholics. We appreciate you checking out our channel, and we have more videos to come.
Yeah. Thank you all.